even though my voice is hanging on by a thread, even though yesterday I legitimately couldn't even talk, these wide receivers are such good values that if I did not make this video for you, the police would probably be banging on my door saying, hey, get him in, take him in the car, he's got to go. It would be a crime if I did not get y'all this video. So let's go through, let's dive into some buy low wide receivers. But right before we get to it, make sure you go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And of course, if you want to check out any of these props plus a million more, you can find the link in the comment section. You can find the link in the description of the video. And when you go and sign up for Underdog Fantasy with promo code FLOCK, they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. And you'll be able to get into some really fun fantasy football drafts with us during this season, available in damn near every single state. But that should be it, I believe. Going through, pulling up this live stream. Hopefully this is working correctly. But anyway, let's go over and let's look at Jalen Waddle. If we are looking at Jalen Waddle here, 100%, I get it. I understand it. I know why you would not want to buy him low. With Jalen Waddle, this is a wide receiver that over the past few weeks has been very bad. I mean, you're looking at a wide receiver with 3 receptions, 23 receiving yards. You're looking at a wide receiver with 2 receptions, 39 receiving yards. Tell me, Mason, Jalen Waddle's been a bum. You have no Tua Tagovailoa. Jalen Waddle dealing with the hip injury. Jalen Waddle's not going to be able to overcome this. Jalen Waddle is not really going to be able to do anything here. Can we just pump the brakes a little bit with Jalen Waddle? I get it. I understand it. And yes, I agree with you. Without Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle is significantly worse. But with these horrendous performances, with no Tua, with Jalen Waddle dealing with the groin injury, at the end of the day, where does Jalen Waddle currently sit? Well, Jalen Waddle currently sits as the wide receiver 7. Oh, so damn bad. He's been so disappointing since you've had no Tua. Guys, can we calm down just a bit here? I mean, I think that with Jalen Waddle, we need to go back and look at why did we like him so much coming into this season? Why were we over the moon about Jalen Waddle? Why is he my most drafted player in fantasy football? Is it because, hell, we are in a situation where, I mean, we love Tua? No, if I'm going to be honest with you, I never really liked Tua that much. I was looking at Jalen Waddle and saying, okay, well, if we go through and look at rookies historically that have averaged 7.5 targets a game, that have averaged as many receiving yards as Jalen Waddle per game, this is the list. Odell Beckham Jr., Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Jamar Chase, Amari Cooper, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, AJ Green, Chris Olave on there. Who knows if he makes it there throughout the entire season? And I need to give a little asterisk. It's not all the rookie wide receivers. This is going to be the rookie wide receivers that were drafted in the first round. Okay, so you had the good profile coming into the NFL and you dominated your rookie season. And if we go back and look at Jalen Waddle, while yes, like I said, I'm not necessarily going through and going all in on Jalen Waddle. I didn't love him this year because of Tua Tagovailoa. I agree. We want Tua back in. And if we all had our way, if we were all sitting here going, okay, what would be best for Tua Tagovailoa? How about we have him sit out the entire season where we don't have to worry about him coming back in, suffering long-term damage? Nobody wants to risk to his health. Nobody here at all. We all want to see him sit out for a very long time. But at the end of the day, this is the NFL. This is the National Football League. Tua is back at practice. He's back at practice. They're saying he's still unlikely to go for week 6. They could have put him on the IR if they wanted. What's going to happen is they're not playing him week 6. From a PR standpoint, oh dear God, imagine if they try to play him this week. But maybe Tua's back a little bit earlier than expected. And I forgot to do this at the beginning. I apologize. This is a live stream, not a video, so I'm going to be a little bit all over the place. If you have any questions, if you want to know what your Jalen Waddle trade is, if it's fair or not, how it fit in on your roster, please go to the comment section on this video, not the live chat. I know we got a lot of people hiding in the live chat right now, and I definitely appreciate Appreciate y'all. But go to the comment section. Let me know any questions you have. And also, please drop a like on this video as it does help us out a ton. But that should be it with Jalen Waddle. Let's go over to our next guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. With St. Brown here, a wide receiver that unbelievable. To end his rookie season, you had Amon-Ra St. Brown, 12 targets, 11 targets, 11 targets, 11 targets, 10 targets. I mean, look at that dominance from Amon-Ra St. Brown. It gets carried over to this year. Within the first 3 weeks before Amon-Ra St. Brown gets injured, you have 12, 12, 9 targets. Keep in mind what's not showing on this graphic is you had that massive week 2 performance where I believe he also had 69 rushing yards to go along with this. Like, there are a ton of reasons to get excited about Amon-Ra St. Brown. The volume is consistent. The offense is better than expected. Now, y'all know I was saying that, okay, well, let's not get overly optimistic here with Jared Goff. With Jared Goff, he's been great. The Detroit Lions are the #1 offense in the NFL in points scored. But there's no way this is going to last through the entire year. There's no way it possibly could last through the entire year when it comes to Jared Goff and the overall production for the Detroit Lions. But even if we are expecting that regression to hit for Jared Goff, I think that from a passing down standpoint, from a pass catcher standpoint, what you may actually see is this may actually negatively impact someone like TJ Hawkinson. The regression may negatively impact the secondary receivers here, someone like Josh Reynolds, someone like DJ Shark, where Amon-Ra St. Brown is able to consistently demand his volume. I've seen some wild questions in the live streams as late with Amon-Ra St. Brown, people acting like he's not just a locked and loaded top 10 wide receiver in fantasy. Yeah, he was bad this past week because he was injured. He missed the week prior. He's going to be on a bye week this week. So you're going to go a decent amount of time with no Amon-Ra St. Brown. At least no dominance from St. Brown. But please don't overreact. He's going to be just fine. And yes, since this is a live stream, you'll have to see me drinking some water as my voice is about to go off. But anyway, Michael Thomas, our next guy here. With Michael Thomas, I do not want you to go out there and overpay for him. Like, I am completely fine if you say, F it, Jalen Waddle, Amon-Ra St. Brown. These guys are bona fide studs that are ascending that I will overpay for. Michael Thomas, we're going to pump the brakes just a bit, but he has been ruled good to go this week. And if we are looking at Michael Thomas, I mean, hell, through the first 3 weeks here, he was pretty damn good in New Orleans. I mean, you're looking at 9 targets, 8 targets, 5 targets, but keep in mind, he got injured, yada, 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 but a couple of touchdowns to go along with this. This is an offense that I did say was going to be frustrating at the beginning part of the season. Y'all know we had Michael Thomas as a must-draft guy coming into the year. We used to be able to get him as the wide receiver 40 on Underdog way earlier in the offseason, if you remember when Michael Thomas was my most drafted wide receiver before he flew up like 3 rounds in ADP. We said to sell him high early on in the year because there are some concerns. If you are looking at this New Orleans Saints situation, Taysom Hill clearly not going anywhere. Taysom Hill is going to continue to be the thorn in the side of every skill positional guy in this offense, stealing touchdowns in the red zone. Olave, full-blown breakout we're seeing right now. Jarvis Landry may come back as healthy. You have Kamara there as well. Don't know what the quarterback situation is going on. I do want to just say, Michael Thomas, this is not a situation where we're having to worry about him missing the rest of the season, guys. He is going to be good to go this week. If you can get him treated as a throw-in in any deal, I'd be excited about that. Like I said, please don't go overpay for Michael Thomas. Overpay for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Overpay for Jalen Waddle. Not MT, though. Try to get him at a massive discount. Now, our next guy, DeAndre Hopkins. Super brief. We've talked about DeAndre Hopkins over and over and over again. Didn't tell anybody to draft him because what you find is his price at the time of the draft is about the same as it is now. In theory, every week that goes by, DeAndre Hopkins should be more and more and more valuable when he comes back closer to his return. In reality, what happens is just flat lines. All of a sudden, he's about to be back, and people go, whoop, now he's back. Very similar to what we were talking about with Antonio Gibson. We all know I said, okay, sell Antonio Gibson. We were talking about selling him every chance we had through the first month, and nobody really wanted to talk about the fact that Brian Robinson was coming in. People were acting like Antonio Gibson had that job good to go. And then the week Brian Robinson comes back, everybody goes, okay, Antonio Gibson, you got to cut him. Like, come on. Understand that we are only 2 weeks out with DeAndre Hopkins coming back. I mean, with DeAndre Hopkins at the same time, if we go back, look at his last 3 healthy seasons, you had 163 targets, 150 targets, 160 targets. The man is legitimately 6 months older than Davante Adams. I mean, we all want to sit here. We all want to act like DeAndre Hopkins should be in a retirement home. No, he is 6 months older. 6 months than Davante Adams. Now, going over to our next guy, we are going to have Christian Kirk. Had him as a buy low wide receiver after week 1. Hell, I've really liked what we've had so far with Christian Kirk, where if we go through and look at this, 12, 6, 9 targets. Up until this last game against the Houston Texans, Christian Kirk was averaging 9 targets per game in Jacksonville. What you do like about Christian Kirk in this Jacksonville Jaguars offense is if we look at the way that they use their wide receivers, they have 3 guys that see snaps. They have 3 guys that run routes. You have Christian Kirk, Marvin Jones, Zay Jones. That is it. You're not having to worry about a wide receiver 4. You're not having to worry about a wide receiver 5. Coming out here and just stealing anywhere from 4 to 5 targets a game and being a thorn in the side of these main top options in Jacksonville. And I honestly think that Christian Kirk is the guy going forward. I think Christian Kirk is going to be someone that's consistently getting 8 to 9 targets as he has been. Over the past 2 weeks, it's been ugly because this guy, Trevor Lawrence, what are you doing, my man? We're looking at this over the past 2 weeks. Trevor Lawrence, 4 fumbles and 3 interceptions. 4 fumbles and 3 interceptions. You've had 7 turnovers for Trevor Lawrence. You are not going to be able to overcome 7 turnovers in any offense and have the wide receiver be productive and have a running back breakout. You're having to sit here. You're having to try to pray, try to hope that at one point we can sustain a drive here for Christian Kirk and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that Trevor Lawrence has actually been pretty damn good this season. I am very surprised with what we've had so far. I think once we clean up the turnovers, once we can extend these drives, you'll have a much better spot for Kirk overall. Let's go over to our next guy in this list, T. Higgins. With T. Higgins, this is a wide receiver that, yes, I get it. He burned you last week if you started him. I had a lot of leagues where I started T. Higgins thinking he was good to go, and then we got nothing from him. And even if you look at the season-long numbers right now for T. Higgins, hasn't been that great. I mean, with T. Higgins, the man's had 20 receptions. He's had 315 receiving yards. But at the end of the day, these would be significantly different if it wasn't for the injuries for T. Higgins. If we were looking at this, remember, week 1 for T. Higgins against Pittsburgh, he went down early. You've had 3 weeks from Higgins, and in those 3 weeks, 71, 93, 124 yards. The man's been averaging almost 8 targets a game. The man's been averaging about 90 receiving yards a game while healthy. You were looking at a profile coming out of Clemson. Where is your son? Okay. Well, he checks every single box. At the same time, he was a phenomenal rookie. I really have no concerns here with Higgins. I think that he is someone that we can just go through and play confidently once he does return fully from this injury. And if this is going to open up a buy low moment for him, please give me all the T. Higgins shares that I can get. Because keep in mind, that owner that currently has him is probably a little bit frustrated considering the fact that, come on, they just got a 0 from, they just got nothing. Let's go over to our last guy, Dalton Schultz here. I know that he is not a wide receiver. I wasn't even a big Dalton Schultz fan coming into the season, but very similar to Higgins, people played Dalton Schultz thinking that he was good to go. Thinking that he was someone that they can just go through and confidently rely on this season. Well, looks like that hasn't been the case so far. I think that Dalton Schultz probably going to miss a little bit of time here, but we want to be keeping him on our watch list, knowing that right before Dak Prescott comes back, I mean, I'd imagine that both these players are coming back around the same time. Should still be a very good offense when you get Dak Prescott back in here, and Dalton Schultz should be able to benefit from the loss of Amari Cooper, the loss of Cedric Wilson, as we've talked about so many times before. But I think that's all I got for y'all in this video. So please Make sure you go down there. I know you can't comment anything on the video right now because it is technically a live stream. I lost my voice yesterday, couldn't record yesterday. So please, right after this live stream ends, go back to the video, leave any comments you have in the comment section. I'm going to be spending the next 30 minutes just refreshing that comment section constantly, answering all your questions there. And of course, if you want to, you don't have to, but it would mean a ton for me if you would go down there and drop a like on this video. Looks like we're about to hit 300 likes. So thank you so much for all the support, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully my voice continues to get better, because if you were out in the live stream last night, you realize how bad it was. But thank you again. I appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great day, and hope we get to see you with the live stream later today.